So after yesterday's first batch of my 30 favourite albums of the year, I'm very sure that people are mad at me, which is completely fine, but you know, you might be a bit more mad at me, so just give me some time to get through these next 10 albums, numbers 20 to 11 of my top 30 of 2022. There's a lot of numbers I just said. My cat's here again. Hi. So yeah, let's just go. At number 20, we have Dragged Under with Upright Animals. So this is kind of a hell of an improvement from their last album. I really like their last album, The World Is In Your Way. I'm a pretty big Dragged Under fan, which is impressive considering that they haven't been around all that long. After all, this is only their second album. But I really liked it. I like the more political lean in terms of the lyrics, and it actually does have something more to say than a lot of other like punk acts and like newer punk acts that would attempt it, especially considering that there's a pop punk undercurrent to a lot of Dragged Under's music. But it's also catchy as hell. There's more guitar solos, which is fucking awesome. I really like that there's more guitar solos. Tony Capocci has improved massively as a vocalist. His screams sound a lot better on this one. There's just more of a sense of maturity. The production is fantastic as well. This has nothing to do with my feelings towards the music on the album, but I really like the cover art as well. It's just a really good cover. And it's just some really solid hardcore punk. And yeah, that really needed some good solid hardcore punk, but it's not the last solid hardcore punk we'll be seeing this year, on this list even, but you know, it's really good, structurally wise, really well paced, performance wise fantastic as well. Yeah, just absolutely all the right improvements that the band could have made, they did make, and it makes for an incredible album. Next, at number 19, this is kind of a low one, I think, for people who are fans of this band and are expecting it to be in the top 10, but at number 19 we have Lorna Shore with Pain Remains. So I think it goes without saying that Will Ramos is a fucking phenomenal deathcore vocalist. I really love his range of growling and screaming. The guitar work, all the instrumental work is fantastic as well. And this is the first of 3 symphonic deathcore leaning albums, or symphonic-ish death metal related albums that will be on this list. But yeah, I just really like the maturity and growth shown in this one, especially considering I wasn't a big fan of Lorna Shore's last output. I mean, this is just a phenomenal debut for Will Ramos. It just seems like a most pleasant dude. I love the lyrical concept attempted here, and I like how weird and out there it is. And I just love how fucking unforgiving the album is as well. It is dark and crushing in terms of its production, and I've already said about the performances. Will's great, so is everyone else on the album. Yeah, it is, you know, structurally wise, it is a bit of a long album, but it fills the pacing in so many phenomenal ways, and when it builds and crashes, it is fucking phenomenally done. So if you need some really good symphonic deathcore, this is one of the best examples of 2022. At number 18, we have the Callous Dow Boys, which is still one of my favourite band names, with their album Celebrity Therapist. I really liked Die on Mars. I haven't gone back to Die on Mars as much as I would have liked to. But yeah, this is just the Callous Dow Boys doing more weird doing more weird mathcore shit. I said celebrity because the name of the album is Celebrity Therapist. Yeah, no, this is still their typical weird and out there mathcore stuff with like their typical like violin work, which is not something you really get in the genre a lot. Just mind-bendingly incredible riff work, and just it's a lot heavier than the last one as well, but it's also more versatile in a lot of ways. I like the lyrical themes of like celebrity status and addiction, and yeah, just really taking some good shots at like modern media as well. And the band, I love how much fun they have with it. I love that they do not take themselves too seriously. It's just something that works well for me when a band is having fun with a genre that you're really not supposed to have a lot of fun with, that should be taken more seriously. I like that Callous Day Boys are challenging those conventions. Then again, just look at their fucking name, you know. Yeah, no, this is just fantastic work. That production wise, it is a lot smoother than I thought it was going to be, especially given the genre and how mathcore production can sometimes be a bit wonky. But no, the Callous Day Boys make it work. They make everything about this album work, and it's really good. Go listen to it, it's good. And now we go back to something a bit lighter. Number 17, we have Just Friends with Hella. So this is a band I kind of got into maybe last year or the year before. They did put out an album back in 2020, which I just didn't listen to because at the time I felt like I was getting into too much new music, which is not something I thought I'd ever say about myself when it came to 2020. But yeah, no, this is just a really nice, sweet bit of ska stuff. I really like the hip-hop elements that are worked into it. I like the production as well. I love the interplay between the band members, especially between the main vocalists. There is a male one and a female one. They both bounce off of each other so fantastically. I love the guest spots, especially on my favourite song on the album, Basic, which might be one of my favourite songs of 2022. I just really like it. It's just very pleasant. Obviously the instrumental work is really good as well. I like how it's not as heavy on the guitar work, and it's got really great timing to it. Yeah, it's just some top-notch production, really well structured as well. Just short, mostly very, very catchy, very, very fun. Just an enjoyable and very heartwarming album. At number 16, we're getting a bit serious again as we go to Ingested with their album Ashes Lie Still. Now, I became familiar with Ingested a couple of years ago with their album Where Only Gods May Tread, which did make my top 10 of 2020. This one is not in my top 10 of 2022, in case you can tell, because it's number 16 here. But I still really liked it, and I like the story behind it because of it. A lot of the lyrical content being inspired by the death of one of the members' fathers, which is very, very sad. May they rest in peace. My cat keeps snoring, which is ruining the video slightly, or it might be improving it. I don't know. But I really like the instrumental work again. Very heavy, very well paced. I love the guitar solos. They are fucking brilliant. Again, I like the lyrical influence, and using it to describe things like pain and loss is done really, really well. The performances really sell the emotion of it as well. I think it's the lead singer who lost his father. I could be slightly wrong about that, but if it is, he sells the pain fucking brilliantly. Production-wise, it's a lot cleaner than I thought it would be as well. And yeah, no, structure-wise, it is very, very well paced, very well thought out as well. A much smarter death metal album than I was expecting. So if you need some really smart death metal that will still make you feel something in your soul, go check it out. Next at number 15, we have Rolo Tomasi with Where Myth Becomes Memory. This is a very unique one because it is their first album not on Holy Roar, because fuck Holy Roar, fuck that entire label, and fuck what they did. So, well, fuck what their president did specifically. But yeah, no, this is their first one not on there, and they honestly sound a lot better for it. It's a Rolo Tomasi album, so you're going to get something phenomenal. But I like it, this one was a bit more stripped back and less experimental, and it works better than I thought it would for the band. I really like the straightforward, more post-hardcore sort of sound. Eva Spence is still a phenomenal vocalist. Is it Eva Spence or Eva Corman? Either way, it will have been corrected by this point. Really love the performance from her and from the rest of the band too. The riffs, very crushing and heavy, but again, very lightly played too. I like that there's more of a keyboard influence on this one, and again, this sort of DIY style of production I really like. I'm not too familiar with lyrical themes, but you know, I'm pretty sure they're good ones. The tone and emotion behind them is quite good, so that counts for something, I think. And yeah, pacing wise, it does, you know, it is a long album, but again, fills the time fantastically. It doesn't waste any of its time, and it throws in a lot of really neat tricks, which Rolo Tomasi really haven't done a lot of before, so it's nice to see them taking this new route that is kind of refreshingly familiar for them, and it's just really good. So listen, it's good. At number 14, we have an album I was very much anticipating, and it is on the top 20, at the very least. In the top 15, we have Avoid at number 14 with Cult Mentality. I really like these guys. I think this is their second album. I'm not really fully sure. But yeah, this is just some really charming hardcore punk. And that's not really something you could say about hardcore punk. You can't really say it's charming, but I just love the amount of fun that Avoid have with it, which is not something you get in the genre a lot. Again, much like mathcore, it can be taken a bit too seriously at times, but Avoid just throw a lot of the conventions to the wind, and they're just having the time of their fucking lives. The instrumental work is still very, very heavy, and I like that there's sort of, again, a pop punk sort of flow to it, like with Dragged Under stuff. And it works really well for the structuring. It's very, very catchy for a very heavy hardcore punk album at times. But when it builds to those heavy moments, it falls into them really, really well. I love the lyrical themes of just like, you know, looking out for your fellow man and things like that, and about celebrity status and like fake popularity. It's just really well done stuff, and some attacks on music media because, yeah, it does deserve it at points. Performances are great, instrumental work, really, really good. Production also very good too. I like the work on the vocals, especially in terms of that, and the guitar, and it's just a lot of really fun choices made for a really fun hardcore album. So yeah, definitely another one that you should check out. At number 13, we have Pup with The Unraveling of Pup the Band. So I knew that Pup's lyrical content could get a bit serious at times, but this might be the most meta output that they've ever had, and this is the only second album by them I've listened to. I haven't listened to either of the two first ones, although I probably should. But you should also listen to The Unraveling of Pup the Band, because not only is it a fantastic sort of like self-deconstruction, I guess you could say, of the band and their untypical tropes, but it's also very well done in terms of its lyricism. It's got very good self-deprecating moments and very realistic feeling ones. It's a very existential crisis-y sort of pop punk album, sort of like indie pop punk album. The guitar work is still fantastic though, pretty much everything you expect from Pup, alongside the top-notch and very, very sharp production. Performance work, fantastic, especially from lead singer Stephen Babcock. I still love his vocal work. I have always loved his sort of earnestness and the sort of twang to his voice. And yeah, no, it fills out the structuring really well, especially with the like weird sort of short song trilogy that they throw in. It's just really amazing work from a band who are really, really, really fucking smart at times, and this might be their most intelligent album. Definitely one of the smartest of the year, as well as just being one of the most catchiest and forward-thinking of the year. So yeah, another one that you should and have to listen to. And number 12, as you know, I don't think any year would be complete without some grouchy old man punk. So at number 12 we have Hot Water Music with Feel the Void. So yeah, I never really thought I'd get too into this band, but over the last couple of years I've gotten more into grouchy old man punk, and this might be the best example of grouchy old man punk in 2022. Hot Water Music are one of the like sort of OG more emo-y leaning punk rock bands, and they still sound fantastic on here as well. There's some really, really catchy songwriting, some really dark lyrical themes with topics like depression and anxiety, and yeah, so very, very realistic. It's also an album that does extend a comforting hand to anyone suffering from those, and just sort of says like, you know, just listen to some really good tunes, and you know it might help a little bit, and it do help. Chuck Reagan is still a great vocalist. I've always loved the rasp to his voice, which is something that a lot of modern punk rock I think needs a bit more of. Everyone else is great too. Obviously the guitar work is great. I like that there's a few more solos in this one. It's also very much a catchy album despite its grouchy nature, but a lot of that works. It does again sort of give us Spanish love songs vibes, which is weird because Hot Water Music have been around since 1994, so yeah, Spanish love songs are a lot more recent, but still really great work from a really great American punk band. Structure wise great, production wise great, album great. And at number 11, an album that is very, 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 very close to making the top 10, but just didn't. We have Prince Daddy and the Hyena with their self-titled album, Prince Daddy and the Hyena. So I really like Cosmic Thrill Seek because it's not one I've gone back to a whole lot since I first listened to it, but I went back to this one a lot more, probably more than any album in this like particular segment of the list, and I really liked this album, so hence why it's number 11. And much like Cosmic Thrill Seekers, it's a lot of really good work from the band. I would say it's probably better than Cosmic Thrill Seekers in some ways. I really like the layeredness of the guitar work. There's just more of a darkness to it, considering there's also a very emo-leaning sort of pop-punk style band. There's more of a hardcore influence to things as well, and some even like poppier stuff that actually works quite well with it. It's just really nice. I like the lyrical theme of like sort of being broken down as you get a bit older. It is one of the main themes throughout the album. I like the performances as well. There's really good storytelling. Again, I've already mentioned the riffs. The riffs be good. Structure wise, it's very well paced. It's again very long but very, very filling. It tries a lot of new things that Prince Daddy and the Hyena aren't really known for doing, and it's just a bit more experimental and a bit more daring and bold. And yeah, production wise, very, very clean as well. Love how dense it feels and very, very thick in places as well, especially in terms of the riffs. So this is a really good album. So I recommend you go and listen to it because it's a really good album. And barely stumbled through, that is numbers 20 to 11 of my top 30 of 2022. I'll see you tomorrow for the finale for numbers 10 to 1. And I'll try not to repeat myself as much, but I can't promise anything because these aren't scripted. So yeah, I will see you all for that. And as always, thank you for watching. You're awesome.